I'm assuming Nick Bosa is first off the board in a name that's not Kyler Murray. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yes. And I actually think part of all of this could be, it seems like a lot of people are starting to come out and say this week, well, we're not so sure, or I have a source. It could just be Arizona trying to get San Francisco to come up to number one to take Bosa, which I don't know will be an effective move.
I hear you. So then again, potentially alienating Rosen or running the risk of not getting Murray. I guess you're right. I guess it's all this gambit. They'd still take Murray.
You'd have to make an agreement basically that they're coming up to one to get Bosa. And we have offers for trades to move out. Is what you would be selling if you're Steve Keim, the general manager of Arizona. So, we have offers to move back if you guys want to come up and make sure you get Bosa and another team doesn't come up to get him. We've seen it before.
And the interesting name that I keep hearing that is a fast riser or is the apple of so many people's eyes is Ed Oliver from Houston. I hear phrases like unicorn, freak, and then I also hear, well, he's not Aaron Donald. Where do you stand on him, and where do you think he might go?
Well, there's one Aaron Donald in the world, and that's it. See, but he can be a better, more productive pass rusher than he was at Houston. And, people have been talking about it, and it's true. Using him at nose tackle didn't make a whole lot of sense. He's played at about 272 pounds. And when you're playing over the center, you've got the center to deal with and then a guard on both sides. Now if you move into the three technique, meaning lining up on the outside shoulder, you think of Donald and Warren Sapp and all the great three techniques, and just let him – he's got unique initial burst off the ball and some shock in his hands and power for a guy his size. Let him get upfield, stress the offensive lineman, and then work on his hands, and he'll become a better finisher. I think he's got a chance to be a great player in the NFL and maybe a more productive player in the NFL if used properly, and I think some teams are seeing that. Greg Williams, I know he's staying with the 3-4. It's a hybrid system. He's had three techniques with great quickness before, and I think for the Jets at 3, it would make some sense. I think at Oakland 4 it could make some sense. Tampa Bay is a possibility. The Giants are a possibility. So I really don't see him getting out of the top 6 picks when it's all said and done. I mean, we've got Bosa. Obviously, Kyler Murray could go number 1. You got Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle from Alabama, who's going to be a top 5 pick. Josh Allen from Kentucky, the edge rusher, 3-4 outside linebacker, is going to be very likely a top 5 pick. And then I think Devin White, the off-the-ball linebacker from LSU, is the other guy that you have to factor in. But I think Ed Oliver is in that equation in terms of the top 6, 7 picks in this year's draft.
And then last one for you, Todd McShay. I've got, obviously, if Murray goes number 1 overall or doesn't, let's say he doesn't, that would be obviously the biggest surprise of the draft. Then the next surprise of the draft would be a team that takes a quarterback we're not expecting. Who might that team be from what you're hearing right now, 2 days before the draft begins?
It's such a mess, Rich. It really is. I mean, last year I didn't know that Baker was going to be the pick of Cleveland, but we knew the 4 quarterbacks were going to go somewhere in the top 10, 12 or so picks. And we knew that Cleveland was going to take one. We knew the Jets had already moved up to get one. The Giants were a question mark, but either it was going to be Saquon or quarterback. And then we had Buffalo, Arizona, and a couple other teams that were possibilities. This year, there's really, if you exclude Arizona, because technically just on paper they don't need a quarterback because they traded up to 10 to get Josh Rosen last year. So if you exclude Arizona, of the first 9 teams, the Giants are the only one sitting at 6 that really need a quarterback. And they're the ones telling everyone in the league, or telling everyone that can hear, that they're not going to take a quarterback at 6. So that's where it gets interesting. I don't think Denver's going to take one at 10. I think Cincinnati could if the right guy's there. I think maybe Dwayne Haskins is a possibility. I actually don't think Miami's going to take a quarterback at 13, unless maybe, if Kyler were somehow to possibly fall to 13. I think Haskins makes the most sense at Washington at 15. And maybe they move up to go get a guy. And then everyone keeps saying Daniel Jones for the Giants at 17, or the Giants could move up a few spots. We'll see. I think it's a big reach. I've stated it. I think he's a good player, but I think he's a great backup who could be a starter. But those guys I like to draft on day 2. So to me, there are 3 first-round quarterbacks in this year's class, and those are the teams really between 10 and 17 that I think are the most likely to make a move.
I got Marquise Brown coming in studio. Tell me about him real quick before he walks in here. What do you think?
The most functional speed I think I've ever evaluated at wide receiver.
Come on.
Functional, meaning like the quickness, speed, being able to get in and out of breaks. I know he didn't run a 40-yard dash. I know he's 166 pounds. I know he's coming off the Liz Frank injury. I would take that dude in the top 15, and I would sleep really well on Thursday night.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I know he's going to fall. He's going to go in the 20s probably. That's what everyone's saying. That's fine. I'm just saying when we look back on it, people are going to, especially in today's league, getting in space, explosiveness, playmakers, people are going to look back and say, what were we thinking? We way overreacted to a foot injury and to 166 pounds. This dude can play.
So you think the Steelers might take Antonio's cousin to replace him? What do you think?
Probably not. Probably not. I think they might just stay away.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. I would love that. I would love that on Thursday night, man. I would love that.
I love your
Todd,
angles. You always have the angles, man.
I try, man. I'm trying. Hey, I'll see you in Nashville. I'll see you when you get down here. Just let me know when you're here.
Look forward to it.
All right, brother. Thanks. That's you bet. That's Todd McShay of ESPN. McShay13 is his Twitter handle.
For more of the Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download the Rich Eisen Show app.